G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another episode of Wasteland Survival. So in today's episode we are going to finish off this hangar and then we are finally going to make a start on the landing pad for the Atlas. So the first thing I want to do here is I actually want to fill in these gaps with some catwalks. So let's go ahead and do that. So what I need to do first is select my catwalks and we'll go ahead and we will place these down. So we'll grab ourselves a fair few components for these, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to get all of these done in one hit, but we will see how we go. So obviously we're just going to place all these down and hopefully we have enough materials to get these all done. Now when I did this tunnel I didn't exactly know whereabouts to go with it on this end wall. And I checked downstairs just so that I could make sure I made it kind of the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place the last interior block where the where the conveyor will go basically underneath that gate door that I was talking about in the last episode. And at the front of the hangar here I've also added just like a 1 block spacing in between these interior walls and then the airtight hangar doors. So I think that's going to look pretty nice, but I may change that a bit later. I'm not exactly sure. So let's go ahead and weld all these up. Okay, well that's all those done. So now what I want to do is drill this, or not drill, but grind this wall out so that we can then place our gate down. So I'm pretty sure I need to go... Let's actually just check the size. I'm pretty sure that's the size of what the gate needs to be. But as I said before at the end of the last episode, what I also want to do is I kind of want to taper it in. So let's grab our hangar door, or our gate rather, and let's just place it there and then see what it looks like. So I think I actually need to go a couple blocks more, so I probably need to grind these ones out as well. But I think it still is only 2 blocks tall. So let's see how this looks. So what I want to do here is just check it. So where is it? There it is. Yeah, so wait, is that the right size? Oh, whoops. I've ground down the wrong amount of blocks on the right hand side. Well, let's just go ahead and fix that up. Actually, no, I do want to grind those out. So what I want to do, well, first, let's get rid of all the steel plates that we've just gathered from grinding that down. And what I want to do is I want to grind this out and just this entire top row as well. Because like I said, we're going to taper this and I don't really want this stuff to be here. So let's just go ahead and do that. Now, what I need to do from here is go ahead and place some blocks like this. And we will do that. We'll also place them along the top there. So we'll place them like this. Then we'll place some more on the sides here. Some more there. Let's go ahead and... Oh, before I do that actually, what I want to do as well is I actually want to place down these blocks here. So these ones. The light armor inverted corner base. So we need to spin it around, put it like that, and then do the same on this side here. So we'll place that one there, and then we will go ahead and weld all of these up. Okay, so they're all welded up. Now what we got to do is kind of drill this out so that we can see what we're doing. So I got to probably go about 2 blocks deep. And once again, my drill's doing the funky thing where it's up in the air. So let's go ahead and we'll drill this out as best we can. And hopefully I don't have to... I don't really want to make a drill guide for this because I just think it's like kind of unnecessary to do so. So hopefully we can get away without doing that. And we'll just drill out this top section here. And then what I want to do is kind of go like 1 or 2 blocks deep. And what I'm going to do though is I'm just going to kind of place the door and then I'll just kind of leave it at that. I won't actually start building the rest of the hangar just yet, or the rest of the hallway and all the other stuff that I plan to build. Is it going to let me get that? Oh, no. Oh, that's so annoying when you get these little bits of voxel that just want to hang around. So looks like we're going to have to get the mining ship to get that out, but I guess that's not a really big deal. So let's drill out as much of this as we can, and I think that should be okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and get ourselves a few steel plates. I think that should be enough. And then what we're going to do is we're going to place all the steel plates along here. And I think it looks like I actually damaged one of these walls. Did I? Oh no, the edge just kind of disappeared. That's alright. Alright, so let's weld these up. Okay, that's those welded up. I'll turn my lights on so I can see what we're doing. Oh, this drill thing is really annoying. Alright, let's grind, or drill that out rather. Drill that part out, and I'll just kind of make sure that this is flat. I think it is. I think it's reasonably flat, but we'll just kind of make sure that it is. And then we'll obviously make the floor the same color as the other blocks. And we'll go ahead and we'll place our floor in for where the door will go. And I'll try and get a block in there. There we go. Let's weld these up as well. Okay, cool. That's done. So now what we can do is we can go ahead and we can place our gate. So let's grab our gate and let's just see if we can actually place that. And we can. Fantastic. And in fact, I think I want to change the color of this to the slightly darker grey, because if you guys remembered before, I actually made the floor of the hangar for some reason a slightly different shade of grey. So alright, let's grab the components for that, add it to the build planner, and I suspect we are going to have to do quite a few trips for this. I could use the weld ship here, but I think honestly it would take me more time to fill it with all the components that we need than it would to actually weld the thing up by hand. And yeah, it looks like I was right in my assumption. So now what I want to do is actually open this door again, and I'm going to grind out these blocks here. So yes, I know I just placed these blocks down, but that's alright, we can get rid of them. So let's grind these out, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put our interior walls all the way up to here, and we're going to place them all along there. So what I need to do is grab myself a whole bunch of components for interior walls. So we'll grab quite a few of those. I will make sure that they are the correct color, and we'll start placing them down. But before we can, I actually need to drill this out so that the voxels aren't kind of exposed through the interior walls. Is that enough? Maybe. Alright, let's see how we go. So let's place one there, and then we'll place another one down here. And it looks like that's not deep enough. So let's go ahead and drill that out a little bit more. And I'll just drill this just to be safe. So now let's see how we're looking. So we'll place this one like that, like that. We'll place another two down here, and then I'll place another one there, another one there, and then I will place another one there. Now what? So the conveyor junction is going to go above this block here. So I don't really need to drill this out completely. Where am I? So let's place one here onto the end of this block. So we'll just place it like that. And like I said, I don't really need to fully cover this one up, because these are basically just going to be covering the conveyor, so we don't really need to worry about that too much. Energy. And of course we are running out of energy, so let me just quickly grab just a tiny bit, just kind of enough to get this done. Alright, that should be heaps. Low. So let's go ahead and continue welding these things up. And in fact, I need to place another interior wall here like that. Alright, so weld that. And we don't have enough components, which is unfortunate. Alright, cool. I think we should have enough now. Hopefully. But we shall see. Right, I'll just drop down into this hole here and make sure everything else is welded up. Okay, so I think that's all of the interior walls done. So now, well, with the exception to this one. Okay, so let me just make sure that there are no voxels poking through here. And cool, we're looking pretty good. So, now what I'm going to do is put in my conveyor junction. So let's grab a conveyor junction. And let's grab a conveyor tube. And then let's grab a catwalk. So we'll grab our catwalk. Awesome. So now we can go ahead and place all this stuff down. Yes, yes, I know my energy is critical. Right, so let's place our conveyor there. Like that. Then we will place our conveyor tube down there. So that will go, obviously, like that. And we'll weld that. And then finally, we can put down our catwalk. So, let's place our catwalk. And I believe all of this is the same color. So, what? I thought I grabbed enough components for that. That's weird. Please, grab all the components. I swear I did that. Maybe not. Obviously not. Otherwise it would have worked, right? Alright, cool. So that is everything done. So now let's make sure that this entire place is airtight. Although, what I'm going to need to do is actually make sure that all of these base hangar air vents are actually turned on. So let's find our hangar air vents and let's turn them on. No, not depressurize. I want to toggle the block on. Alright, cool. Well, it's pressurizing the room, so obviously that must mean that this entire place is actually pressurized. So, I think this hangar is looking really nice. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really happy with how this has turned out. So let's turn off my lights and just appreciate the lighting around this place as well. So now, what I want to do, the final thing I want to do, well, the second final thing I want to do is basically get rid of these and then just make these pillars the same as all the rest, just so that it kind of matches in with the rest of the hangar. So we'll quickly get rid of these little blocks here, and then we can go ahead and place in these ones here, which is the sloped tips. So go ahead and place all them in. Do the same on the other side, obviously. And then we can go ahead and weld all these up. And I hope I don't run out of steel plates when I'm doing this, or energy, but I suspect I will, so we'll see how we go. Alright, well that is all of those welded up. So now I want to get on to the second last thing that I want to do to this hangar. I know I said that I was going to do one more thing, but there is another thing that I want to do as well, but we'll address that in a moment. So the first thing that I want to do out of these last two things, if that makes sense, is I actually want to add the accent lights to this tube tunnel type of deal that we have going on here. So I'm going to basically make this look exactly the same as the tunnel that is downstairs in the other the other part of the facility. So what we're going to do that is we're going to place our lights here. So first of all, what I need to do is go ahead and withdraw an absolute ton of corner lights. So we'll see if we can get a whole bunch of these, and hopefully that should be enough. Alright, so let's go ahead and we will place one down here. So in the lower hallway, they're actually spaced one block apart from this block here. So, and then after that, they're basically spaced one block apart from each other. Now first, before I start placing all of these down, I actually need to check the settings on this light and just make sure that the offset is going to be set correctly. So let's find this corner light that we just welded up in the control panel, and I will just set the offset to 5 because I want the offset to go along the floor. And fantastic, so it looks like that's exactly what's happening. So I've mentioned this a couple of times in this series, but these corner lights can either have the offset going that way or they can have the offset going that way. And what I want these corner lights to do is have their offset going this way, so that the light, I can expand the radius and it will light up this tunnel, but it won't go upwards and start lighting up the roof. So what I need to do now is obviously go ahead and place the rest of these lights. So we'll just continue this pattern here, and I'm basically going to stop the pattern there, and hopefully I did that right. I guess we are going to find out soon enough. And then yeah, we just basically got to continue this same pattern for the rest of the floor. And I think this is going to look pretty good. It did look really good in the rest of the base, so I don't see any reason why it won't look just as good here. And obviously, because we had to go one block spaced apart from that, I'm just going to place this light here, so I think that should do. So let's go ahead and place the rest of these down. And I think I only have one more little section to do. Alright, cool. So now what we got to do is go ahead and actually weld all of these up. Right, fantastic. So that is all of these lights now done. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's save all of these. Well, not save. Let's actually set all of these lights up. So what I want to do is I actually want to set these exactly the same as the rest of the lights in the other hallways. But I think first, before we even do that, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm basically going to set these as... I'm going to set up the name of these. So let's find our corner lights. Corner lights. So I think what I'll do is I'll call these the Hangar Floor Accent Light 1 through to however many there are in the base. So let's quickly rename all of these. Alright, fantastic. So that's all these lights renamed. So now we can go ahead and set the settings for these. Now I've already gone ahead and checked what the settings were for the other ones. So let us see if I can actually remember all of this. So I believe it was 170. This was set to 100. The radius was set to 6.0. The fall off was set to 2.0. Intensity to 1.0. The offset was set to 1.25, and that should just about do it. So let's check this out and see how this looks. Fantastic. Alright, so this looks really good. So as you can see, everything is lit up quite nicely, and we can see this tube really clearly, and that is exactly what I want. So let's just get up above this and just have a bit of a better look. So I think this hangar is looking really nice. Yeah, there isn't really too much more I want to do to this in terms of like the design. Maybe what I might do in the future is extend this kind of design here out to here, but I'm not exactly sure yet. Okay, so the very last thing that I want to do here is I actually want to fix this garage door. And you might be wondering, well, what do I really need to fix on this garage door? So what I've noticed is that when I get close to this thing and then I pull back really quickly, the door actually doesn't close. And I think what's happening is the door gets the close command at the same time it gets the open command. So it's actually kind of, you know, yeah, it's just not closing. So there's basically two ways I can fix this. So the first way is I can increase the time that it takes to actually close the door to something like, you know, from 10 seconds to like 20 seconds. But that would be... yeah, I kind of really don't want to do that. And the other way that we can fix this is I can just add a 5th timer block. So I think that is probably what I'm going to do. But actually, while I've got these doors like this, maybe what I can do here is actually set these to the correct color. Yeah, so as I suspected, it looks like you need to actually have these doors closed to actually set the color. So let's go ahead and try and do that first. So, but in fact, I might have to just quickly grind these blocks out to do that properly. So we'll do that, and we'll go over to this side and we'll do the same thing. And I know I'm getting distracted here, but while I've got the opportunity of these doors being pinned closed, I guess it is as good a time as any to do that. So let's place these blocks back. Let's re-weld these up, and we'll place these 2 blocks back as well. And as you can see, I've actually disabled the sensor because I was getting tired of the door opening and closing every time I was going this side of the hangar. So what I want to do now is add a 5th timer block. Now, because it's just like 1 timer block, I don't really know where to put it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to put it here. So, but what I'll do is I'll just drill this out just to make sure that there's no voxels showing through on this. Whereabouts is that block? There it is. Have I got the components for it? No, I don't. Alright, so let's go and withdraw the components for this last timer block. And let's go ahead and place it in the roof like that. Now, I'm going to do this the same as what I did with the other ones, and I'm going to set it so that the back is showing, not this light, because I really don't like the light. It just kind of annoys me. So, yeah, we're just going to have it looking like that. And, yeah, they actually kind of look pretty good when they're like that. So, yeah, it'd be nice to make like kind of like a wall of those, if you know what I mean. That'd look pretty cool. Or basically place them in random spots. Anyway, I digress. I'm getting a little bit distracted. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's set this up. So, the first thing I want to do is find all my timer blocks again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this to base, and I'm going to name this to this one here to base as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to name this one timer 5. We're going to set this to delayed or delay close base doors. So now, one of the other things that I didn't like is I didn't like the amount of time I had to wait for these doors. So I'm going to change that down to about 6 seconds. Maybe even, yeah, we'll go 5 seconds, I guess. And I'll set this one here to 5 seconds. And I'm going to set the delay for this one to 6 seconds, which is 1 second longer than the other block. Now, what I want to do is I want to set up the actions of this delayed closed door. And obviously, we're going to set up the action of closing the hangar doors. Then what we're going to do is we're going to find timer block number 3. We're going to go to setup actions, and we're going to find our timer block number 5, and we're going to set that to start. So now if I go ahead and turn that sensor back on, so let's find our sensor hanger. We'll turn that sensor back on. So now when I go towards it and then I pull back really quickly, then the doors should open, and then they should also close again. Yeah, awesome. So that's exactly what I want. That wasn't actually working before. The door was kind of opening, and then it was just kind of like never closing again. So I think that works exactly how I want. So now I'm happy with that. And let's go ahead and finish. Well, let's go ahead and make a start on this landing pad out here. And awesome, it's daylight. So how much daylight do I have left? Oh yeah, it looks like it is the middle of the day. So we should have ourselves a fair bit of light to get this done. So what I want to do here is I basically want to make it exactly the same on this side over here. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Alright. Shuttle med bay. Let's just respawn there. So now I'm going to have to change my suit again because no doubt that will be the incorrect suit. Alright, so let me go ahead and do that, and then once that's done, I'll be back. Alright, well I've finally gone and sorted out my suit situation. So now we need to begin creating this landing pad. So I think honestly the best way to start with this would be to kind of like project the blueprint that I plan to build of the Atlas, and then kind of go from that point there. So, but maybe first, before I do that, it might be a good idea to kind of figure out where the edge of the landing pad is going to be. So obviously it's going to be in the exact same position on this side as it is on that side. So I kind of have to replicate that, and that is, you know, obviously assuming that we can actually fit it there in the first place. So I guess what I got to do to start with is just kind of figure out how I'm going to do that. So what I'll do is I'll just place these blocks here, then we'll just kind of extend this part out as well, and then obviously we'll do the tips. So where are my tips? I think I went past them. There we go. So we'll place these down, and then let me just get a better idea of how this is looking. Okay, so now, okay, so needs to be roughly like this. So we need to place it there and then there. Is that the right length? I think it might need to be about that long. I think that looks about right. And then we just need to place these blocks in here. Are they on this menu or are they on the other one? I thought it was on this menu. Yeah, it is. These ones. Alright, so we'll place that there, and then we'll spin this around and place one there. Okay, fantastic. So that's basically going to be the outer edge of the landing pad. And then obviously we have all this kind of space to work with. Now, I'm actually kind of concerned at this point that it may not be wide enough, although let's just take a look. So what I'll do is I first need to build a projector so that we can actually project this blueprint out. So conveniently we have a connector here where we can access everything we need, although that's right, I can't withdraw components through a subgrid. Alright, so let me just go back down into the garage and then withdraw the components from here. Alright, cool. So we've got the components that we need. So let's go ahead and let's build this thing. So I'll just place it there for now. That's the top, that's the front, that's fine. Weld that up. And then I think I need to place down just a basic control panel just so that we can access this projector easily from here and not have to go downstairs to do it. So what I always like to do though is just name this projector and then close the console again, go into the console, and then if I scroll up just one block then I can see my projector. So obviously we want to build the Atlas Mark II, which is this one here. So we'll just double click on that and then we'll see where that ends up. So it looks like that looks like the top of it. So I'm gonna have to spin it around 180 degrees, and then obviously, yeah, move it kind of that way, if you know what I mean. So like that way. Alright, well I'm going to go and configure this off camera because sometimes this can take me a little while, and I'm sure you guys don't want to sit here and watch me mess around with this projector to try and get this thing aligned properly. Okay, so I think I'm pretty happy with the alignment of the ship so far. So I just kind of need to figure out how much over and how much over this way I basically want to place it. So it looks like I will have enough clearance from this side of the cliff to create the landing pad without much drama. So I think, yeah, that worked out pretty well. I have to admit, I was kind of concerned that I wouldn't have enough space to kind of do this. Now, if we look at the Pilgrim, right, so basically I want to kind of replicate the distance from the edge of the ship to the edge of the landing pad between the both. So if we have a look at this, you can see that the Pilgrim is roughly 3 blocks away from the edge of the landing pad. So I think I kind of want to make the Atlas about the same distance from the edge of the landing pad. So let's just go ahead and test if that is indeed the case. So we'll put 3 blocks down, and then we'll just go straight up, and we'll see where we end up in relation to the side of the ship. And it looks like we are... oh, bye. We are exactly where we want to be. So that's looking pretty good. Alright, so I think maybe the forward alignment needs to be a little bit more. So maybe I can move the ship forward by about... how many blocks do we have from the edge of the landing pad to the front of the ship? I think we changed this in the one of the last episodes, and I think it ended up being about 3 blocks. So yeah, we got about 3 blocks spacing from the back of the landing pad to the back of the ship as well. So, and obviously we're going to measure that from like kind of this point here. So we will place a block there, and then we will basically go 3 blocks back from here. So 1, 2, 3, and then I'll just create a whole bunch of blocks going upwards, and then we can kind of gauge where we need to be. So obviously this is going to look a bit strange though, because it's interfering with the blueprint, but I think that should hopefully give us an idea of how far forward we need to go. So it looks like we're about 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 blocks. So let's go ahead and move the blueprint about 5 blocks forward. So let's go into here, projector, and let's find our forward offset, and let's go to 39 and see where we're see what it looks like at that point. Oh yeah, 1 more block. So I was close. I said 5 blocks, but it looks like it was 6. So let's go plus 40. Alright, so let's have a look at that. Alright, cool. So I think that's looking pretty good. Now the question is it an odd number of blocks if I go from... So, okay. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 13, 14, 15. So I've got 15 plus 15 plus another 1. So that's 31 blocks. So yeah, beautiful. That's an odd number, so I think that's going to work out pretty well. Now obviously I need to change this part here on this side, because if you notice on this side, I actually changed them with these blocks here. So yeah, from the edge of the landing pad, which is this point here, then yeah, it's 15 blocks plus 1 plus another 15, so 31. So that will work out quite nicely, because I always like to create odd, because then I have a center line of blocks. So then what we need to do is obviously just make this another 15 blocks from there. So we've got 2 already, so we need to add 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Although yeah, so 13 from that point. So I think the next block needs to be one of these, the inverted corner base, and then from there we can basically go this way with these blocks. Then we can just continue on down this path, and this will be kind of like the outer extent of this landing pad, if I can get the blocks to attach properly. So let's see how we're looking now. Okay, so what I'll do is just to make sure that we are definitely centered in between this. Remember how I said it was 3 blocks? So we want 1, 2, 3. And then if we go straight up from this point, we should end up exactly on the other side of the ship. And it looks like we are. So that is awesome. Alright, so we've basically got the width of our landing pad figured out. So now we just got to figure out the length. And as you can see, just the sheer size difference of these two ships is pretty incredible. So, alright, well, let's go ahead and lengthen out this landing pad until we get to the end, and we can kind of get the outer extents figured out. So obviously we're going to have to go back quite a bit. So this landing pad is going to be absolutely huge. And it looks like we are just touching the mountain here, which is not too bad. I don't think we'll go too far into it. I think it will start dropping off at this point. No, we seem to be getting just a little bit deeper as well. Yeah, there we go. So it's starting to drop off now. So, oh yeah, looks like I've run out of steel plates. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get some more steel plates. So I'll stock up. I'll just fill my inventory with them because I'm going to need an absolute ton to get this done. And unfortunately, there are no ways in which you can get a machine to kind of create or place down a massive number of blocks for you. Unless you're kind of in like creative mode, and then you can just do it by hand, but you know, by using the line mod or something like that. Not the line mod, but the line mode. So how are we looking here from the front? So I think we still got to go a fair bit. And once we have done with this, I kind of want to count this out and try and find a midpoint so that I can make this an odd number as well. But yeah, as you can see, it's a lot of blocks, so I'll probably count that off camera because it's yeah, it's going to take me a little while. Alright, so I think we might go with maybe a little bit less than that. And honestly, I can't even remember how long this ship is, and maybe it would be useful to kind of... Okay, so how about we do this? So what I'll do is I'll just place some random blocks down here and we'll span all the way across, because honestly we will need to create these blocks will need to be there anyway. And what I can do is I can kind of measure off the front of the ship and do the same 3 block spacing in between the front of the landing pad and the edge of the ship, if that makes sense. So alright, let's find our midpoint here. Roughly. It doesn't need to be exact at this point, although I think that is actually our midpoint, to be fair. So how many blocks off are we there? So we are 1 block away from that, so we want to be 3 blocks away. So the edge of the landing pad needs to be about there. So if we just go downwards from there, then basically, so what I'll do is I'll place a block here. Wait, is it like that? Yeah. So then I'll place down this block here. So let's just make sure that that is that 3 blocks? No, I want this block to be there, actually. That's what I want. So that is 1, 2, and then 3. I'm kind of hoping that 3 blocks is enough spacing, but we shall see. We shall see. So let's join this up with the rest of the landing pad. So, alright, cool. So now what I can do is I can get rid of these ones, and then I can grab the inverted corner base. Awesome. And that is the extents of our landing pad, and then this will obviously be the floor of the landing pad, if I'm not mistaken. Is that the floor? Or have I messed this up? I think the ship is actually 1 block too high, although I'd have to kind of run... Yeah, let's do that anyway. So let's kind of run a block from this point all the way to the landing gears of the ship, and let's just see where we end up. Yeah, okay, so I did think that it was one block too high, so it seems like that is the case. So what I'll do, and honestly it's not really important, I've still kind of, it's not really going to change the spacing and the size of the landing pad, but it will still make me feel a little bit better. So is it 11 or -9? Okay, so that still trips me out. I don't understand why it's negative and it's going upwards. Yeah, it's strange, but I guess that is the way it's set up. So what can you do? Not too much, I'm afraid. Alright, so now what I need to do is kind of figure out how many blocks are along the lengthways of the landing pad and try to make sure that that is... Really? Already? Jeez. Oh no, I'm in a bit of a pickle now. Oh well. Okay, so as I was saying, I kind of need to find the midpoint here, and I want the length of this hangar to be... this landing pad to be odd, just so that I have a midpoint, like I do with everything else that I've built in the game. So, alright, well let me refill my jetpack and then figure out if this is indeed odd, and then yeah, I'll see you guys after that. Alright, well it would appear that this landing pad is in fact 68 blocks long. Now, I kind of definitely want this one to be odd, because I plan to either put well actually, is it double the length of this one? So maybe I do want it to be even. Okay, so if I decide to place 3 legs underneath this landing pad, then I kind of want it to be odd. Whereas if I want to place 4 legs underneath the landing pad, then I probably want to make it even. Although I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to kind of work that out in my head. So yeah, how long is this landing pad? I honestly can't remember. So let me just quickly count how many blocks are in this landing pad, and then I'll kind of make my decision from that point. So okay, well it turns out that this landing pad is 33 blocks long, and this one is going to be about 70 blocks long. So I dare say that this one is going to be basically double the length, if you know. So at the moment it's 68, so realistically it's like, you know, double 34, which is kind of close enough to being double of that. So I think what I will do in the future, once I have kind of built this landing pad out, is I'll probably go ahead and place 4 landing legs, or not landing legs, but 4 legs that look as if they're holding the this landing pad up, just to kind of fit the same sort of style as this one. So the only question is, I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure if I want to make this even or odd. So let me go and figure this out just a little bit. So basically what I'm going to do to figure this out is kind of the spacing in between these legs here, and then their spacing from the edge, and I can kind of gauge how that's going to look. Alright, well it's taken me some time to try and figure this out, maybe like, you know, 5 or 10 minutes. So, okay, let me try and explain this in a way where it is easy to understand. So, in between here and here, on this landing pad, these legs are 12 blocks apart, right? So if I have, and the legs themselves are 3 blocks wide. So basically, and then also I believe they are 8 blocks from the edge of this landing pad. But in this one, I kind of want to increase it. So what I've done is I've kind of just added all this together, and I think 68 blocks is going to be just about perfect. And what that will allow me to do is have a 10 block spacing to the edge of this leg, and then there'll be the 3 blocks that are actually the leg. Then there'll be 12 blocks spacing, another leg, three blocks wide for the leg itself, then another 12 blocks, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth, until we repeat that process until we get to the other end. So let me try and demonstrate how this is going to look. Now, the only thing is, okay, so is this, whereabouts is this block? Let me just grind this block out, because I'm pretty sure. Okay, so that block there is technically where I'm measuring this from. So it would be kind of, yeah, okay, so let's let me try and visualize this a little bit. So this here is going to be our midpoint, right? So let me just run blocks all the way to the back here until we get to the front of this landing pad, and then we'll kind of count this out, and then I'll show you roughly where the legs are going to end up, and then we can kind of go from there. So let's try and get this done reasonably quickly, because we are kind of running out of daylight, which is a bit unfortunate, because I set the daylight on this planet to be 3 hours. So what I mean by 3 hours is like, so basically the day and night cycle of this planet, I actually set that to 3 hours. So let me just grind all this stuff away as well, and then this will give us kind of a clearer idea of what we're going for here. Oh, whoops. Alright, so let's place that block there, and let's place this block here like this. Right, fantastic. Okay, so now if we go, so this is our first block, so if we go 10 blocks this way, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we go this block here, and then that will be one leg. And then we go 12 blocks from here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then we'll have a block there for the edge of the leg, and then we go 12 again, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then a leg there, and the other end of the leg there, and then we go 12 again, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, leg there, and then we should be 10 blocks from the edge here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Fantastic. Alright, so that's roughly where our legs are going to be. So I guess I didn't really need to figure that out at this point, but well, actually, yeah, I kind of did, because I wanted to know roughly how long I needed to make the landing pad so that I could, you know, make these legs look roughly the same as this one here. Although maybe we might beef them up a little bit and make them look a little bit more chunky, considering they are going to have to appear as if they are holding more weight than what this landing pad here is. So, but at least I know where I can kind of begin those legs. So now we can go ahead and actually start with yeah, kind of fleshing out the outer edge of this landing pad, and then yeah, getting it all set up. And obviously so that, I believe that is in the correct spot, this edge here. So now all we need to do is kind of go all the way back from here. So let's just do this now actually. So all we need to do is go straight back from this point until we reach the end of the landing pad. So just keep going back here. And so yeah, I know this well, maybe it seems a little bit boring, maybe it doesn't, but hopefully this gives you guys an idea of how I go about trying to figure out this stuff, because sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to figure out how big things are, and I always try to make, well, I try to weld once and not have to grind it all down again, although I have done that in a couple of, well, I've done that many times in this series, but for something as big as this, I definitely want to try and get it right the first time. So hopefully this kind of helps you guys figure out how you can kind of achieve that goal. So awesome. All right, so that is the inner extents of our landing pad. I keep going to say hangar. I keep getting hangar, landing pad, and garage all mixed up. So wow, that looks massive. Look at that. That is going to be rather insane. And honestly, for me not even planning to put this ship here at the very start when I chose this location, honestly, this has turned out just absolutely amazing. Yeah, it just kisses the side of this mountain, which is exactly what it does on the other landing pad. So the placement of everything is just, yeah. Honestly, I couldn't have planned this that well, let alone just gotten lucky and gotten it that way.
Energy critical.
So yeah, I'm really happy with how this has turned out so far. Okay, well, let me go and get myself recharged and then I'll be back. Alright, well, I've gone ahead and I've recharged my batteries, refilled my jetpack, so hopefully we should be good for a little while. So now all I need to do is kind of finish laying out all the blocks for this, this landing pad. So I really don't know how many blocks this is going to take, but I assume it is going to take an enormous amount of blocks. So, but actually, one other thing I kind of wanted to discuss while I was trying to lay out some of these blocks. So I've recently just gone onto YouTube and I saw a post from Keen Software House about their blocks. Well, it was like a screenshot saying that they're going to do a live stream on Wednesday. So it is currently Monday at the moment, before they are releasing the update. So yeah, that just kind of gives you guys an idea of the time frame it takes to do these videos. Or yeah, sometimes I get them ready a week in advance, sometimes I don't. It just depends on what I've got going on in personal life. But anyway, that's enough about that stuff. Basically, I saw a lot of interesting things in that picture. So yeah, I noticed that I'm pretty sure they're going to release new hydrogen engines. I'm pretty sure I've seen spherical hydrogen tanks as well. And obviously all this will seem pretty obvious because when I actually release this video, it will be two days after they've dropped the update. So you'll be like, what are you even talking about, man? Like, this stuff is, we already know this because all this stuff has been released already. But some of the things that they showed in that picture look very interesting. And I was actually really wondering when Keen Software was going to go around and actually update the hydrogen thrusters in the game, because obviously you guys remember when they did the I think it was the Sparks of the Future update, where they updated the models for the atmospheric thrusters and the ion thrusters, and they added in all those sci-fi blocks. So it is good to see that the hydrogen engines are getting a little bit of love. Or maybe it looks like they're doing a size in between the large and the small. So maybe we will have medium thrusters. But yeah, I mean, that's all kind of speculation at this point. And I do realize that this video will be released probably, well, this video will be released on the Thursday night at midnight, well, in my time zone anyway, at which point the update would have probably been out for something like 20 hours or something like that. So yeah, I'm really excited for the next update. I think there are going to be a lot of really awesome blocks being added to the game. And just from the armor blocks, I think they said they were going to add something like, what was it, 64 new armor plates and things like that. So alright, well that's enough rambling from me. So in that rambling I managed to get the entire outer edge done, and yeah, so far it's looking pretty good. So now all I got to do is go ahead and actually place down all of these edge pieces here. So I think at this point, if we go over here and have a look at it, and I've got to turn my lights on here because I can't see a damn thing. So at this point, obviously, we've got to place these blocks here, the 2x1 sloped tips, but obviously we have to turn them around. So they end up here all the way along the outer edge. And then, I don't know if you guys remember, but in the last landing pad that we did, we couldn't actually get this to meet up on the corners, so we're going to have to kind of fudge that a little bit, but overall I still think it will look fine. Okay guys, well it's a little bit hard to see because it is, you know, night time at this point, but yeah, I've basically gotten to the stage where I have done all of the outer edges for the landing pad, so you can kind of see, well, with the exception to these parts here, because I still need to kind of figure out how I did it on this one. Oh yeah, it just kind of looks like that. Well, that's fair enough, I can do that. So yeah, I basically just need to finish off this part, and that's pretty much it. But now comes the task of actually filling in all of these blocks here. So at this stage, I think I've used something like, I think it's probably somewhere around about 1,000 blocks to do everything that I've done here so far, and that's including these blocks here, those blocks there, the outer edges. So I mean, this landing pad's probably going to be something like, oh geez, I don't even know, probably like, you know, 5 to 10, maybe even 20,000. Is it that many blocks? I'd say maybe like 10,000 blocks just for this landing pad. So that's actually an enormous amount of blocks just for a landing pad, but yeah, I think it's definitely going to look cool. So now what I need to do is go ahead and place down the floor, and you can see that here I've already done the transitions between the what would you call this, kind of like the entrance to the hangar. I've done the transition around that corner, and then I've also done the transition from the entrance to the hangar to the outside of the landing pad as well. Pretty much exactly the same as what I have done on this side. I still need to figure out a way to kind of transition this across, because I don't think I want there to be a block like just sitting here like this. So if we grab that block, I don't know if that's really what I want. I wonder if there is a block that would go between there and then kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't really figured that part out yet, so maybe I could do something like that, although I don't really like the look of that either. I can't use that block, or maybe I can. Maybe I could just go like that and then just use slabs from that point onwards. I don't know, that's something I'm going to have to kind of figure out, but it's not really that important now. So obviously the job now is to not run out of hydrogen fuel, and lucky I caught that on time. I usually run out before I do actually catch it. So yeah, now the goal is to get all these blocks on the floor laid out, and then we pull out the welding ship, and then we can get all this stuff welded up. So I'll see you guys once I have laid out all this floor, and I suspect this will take me quite a while. Well, I have placed down all these blocks, and that took me a good 10, maybe 15 minutes. Yeah, so takes a fair amount of time to do that. So I actually kind of figured out roughly how many blocks are here. So there's about 2,500 give or take. And then obviously if we times that by about 25 steel plates, per block, and that's just kind of a ballpark figure, then we end up with a figure of about 62,600 steel plates. Now, the only issue I have is that if I go ahead and I do this with my weld ship, then this is going to take probably an enormous amount of time. So just out of interest, actually, I'm curious to see how much or how many steel plates I can actually fit in the in this weld ship here. So come on, doors, hurry up. Thank you. I couldn't fly over them because my inventory, or because my jetpack has run out. So let me just quickly fill my jetpack up here. Okay, awesome. So my jetpack's finally full again. Alright, so let me just jump into the cockpit of this ship and just see roughly how many steel plates I can hold in here. So I think it has 6 large cargo containers which can each hold about 1,125 steel plates. So 1,125 times 6. So it can hold about 6,750 steel plates. So it makes it's probably going to take me about roughly 10 trips in this weld ship to kind of weld everything up. So yeah, I'm just really not sure if I want to use the weld ship or if I kind of want to build some sort of a piston contraption with a whole bunch of welders and then just kind of weld the whole thing up for me rather than using the weld ship. Because yeah, like I said, doing 10 trips in this weld ship, it doesn't really thrill me, to be honest with you. So I'm really not sure though. I really don't know which would take more time. Like, would it take me more time to use this weld ship, or would it take me more time to build and design kind of a piston setup and then figure it all out and then actually weld the floor, and then after that actually grind all that stuff down? And yeah, so, or would it just be quicker if I'd done it this way? Honestly, it might just be me, but I think even though I would need to do 10 trips, I still think this would be faster. And I think if it was anything other than just steel plates, then I don't think that would be the case. So like for example, if I was printing the ship itself, the Atlas, then definitely a printer would be the way to go. But I think in this instance, if I'm just kind of welding up this hangar floor, then I certainly think that doing it via the welding ship would just be a quicker way to go. So I do think that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the welding ship to actually finish this off. So yeah, alright, let's fill this thing with as many steel plates as what we can, and then we can start welding. So in fact, I don't know how many steel plates I actually have in... Hang on, steel plate. How many steel plates do I actually have left? So I said it would take about 64,000, didn't I? Something like that. So I don't think I'm actually going to have enough, and I might need to actually produce another 10,000 to maybe 13,000 just to be safe. Except that was the wrong assembler. Let's choose the correct one this time. And let's manufacture like another 14,000, say. Now, the question is, do I actually have enough iron ingots to do that? So I need... What did I say? Need 95,000 iron ingots. We've got 19,000 there. Ooh. How many? Oh yeah, so we got 182,000. So I don't need to do a mining trip yet, but it looks like I'll definitely need to do one before I actually go and yeah, start building the Atlas and building a printer for that. But I think for the moment we should be okay. Alright, so now basically with this weld ship, I can only ever fill the... Like, if I'm only using steel plates, I can only fill the cargo containers. I can't fill the welders themselves, because if I do that, then it won't have enough power to actually get off the ground, and the moment I disconnect it, it will just fall onto the ground in a heap, and it will probably cause a fair bit of damage. So that's basically what I'm going to do. I'm just going to fill all of the weld ship cargo containers with steel plates, and then that's pretty much that. That's pretty much all it can store. So, oh yeah, and the connector as well. So we might be able to get a little bit more steel plates, or a little bit more welded than what I usually would be able to with just the cargo containers filled. So yeah, all right. So that is pretty much all I can fit in that. So now we just disconnect this, and as you can see, the thing weighs 216,000 kilos, and that is pretty much its max limit. So let's just wait at the door patiently until the hangar door will open for us. Open sesame. Thank you. Awesome. I still like that door. Now, I should point out that some people have made some really good suggestions on how to fix that hangar door without actually adding the 5th timer block. So I probably won't have a look at that just yet. I probably just want to get this thing done first, and then I'll probably revisit the hangar at a later stage. But yeah, I definitely thank all you guys for your suggestions. They've definitely been very helpful. Sometimes it's hard when you're designing these things. You kind of get tunnel vision, and yeah, it's very difficult to kind of think of other things to do or other ways to do the same thing. So yeah, I certainly appreciate all you guys' comments on that one. So yeah, anyway, I am going to weld a lot of this up, and once I've done all of that, then I will see you after that. Alright, well that is absolutely everything welded up, with the exception to these legs. So yeah, let's go and see how many steel plates we actually used by doing this. So what I'll do though is I'll probably just park the ship here, because I don't really want to bother docking it up, because I just want to kind of check this as quick as I can. Is that flat? Ah, that's alright, close enough. So I'll just turn that off. So let's just use the connector on the back here and just check how many steel plates we actually used. So I ended up manufacturing another 10,000, so I think all up we had about 65,000 steel plates. So now we have about 13,000 steel plates left. So yeah, that whole landing pad probably took us about 50,000 steel plates, which I guess is not terribly bad. But yeah, it definitely took a while, and I think it probably took about 8 or 9 trips in the weld chip, and there's still a little bit of cleanup to do here. But if we turn the projector back on, I just turned it off so that I could kind of see more clearly what I was doing, but if we go ahead and we turn this back on, then we can kind of see how the ship is going to look on that. And yeah, so I think that's going to look pretty nice. Now I believe that the connector for this ship is somewhere here. I think it's, yeah, okay, so it's right there. Now I just want to kind of figure out where that is in relation to, is that right? Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah, so I just want to kind of figure out where that is in relation to the legs. So yeah, it looks like it's going to clear the legs quite nicely. So, alright, well that's pretty much all I have got for this episode of Wasteland Survival. So obviously in the next episode we're going to finish up this landing pad. I'm going to finish off these legs, and as I said before, I'm probably going to make them somewhat bigger than the legs on this one here, just so that it looks kind of more robust. So I might find a way to try and make them a bit thicker as well, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do that as yet. So, and then hopefully we will have enough time to actually start building the printer, and then we can start actually printing this ship. Well, actually, in fact, I don't think I'll be able to print the ship yet, because it has a massive amount of jump drives. So maybe what we'll do is we'll finish off the landing pad, and then we'll have to take the Pilgrim along with the ion miner out into space to mine some gold. Yes, I can mine it on the planet, But the problem with doing that is that it takes an enormous amount of time, and I think it's just much more efficient mining gold in space. So that should get us enough gold to actually do the jump drives in the Atlas. Anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode of Wasteland Survival. Hopefully all these little tips were helpful for you so you can build your own landing pads. And I hope to see you in the next episode of Wasteland Survival. Alright guys, well I'll catch you then.